And he looks at me, he goes, Joey Ballgame. And it just kind of, it's stuck.
That's it.
But, it's a different, no one really calls me Ballgame in Florida. And I was like, you know what? I want to bring this shit back.
So Ballgame is the new thing now. All right. I'm going to have to get used to this. Don't be bad if I call you the wrong name for a little bit. Or your name, somebody else's name, or Ballgame. I don't know what I'm going to do, but... So let's talk a little bit about one of our sponsors that came on board with us today.
Yes. Kapali Rum. Guys, it's a rum based out of Belize. And they use actual rainwater in their mixture. They don't use molasses. Molasses, most of your rums use molasses. This uses a pure sugar cane instead of molasses. So that the flavor of this rum, it's different. It's not that normal rum that, everyone drinks. It's not that same flavor. Without having the molasses and having that sugar cane, I bet you the rainwater probably has something to do with it too, but it is such a smooth rum. Delicious.
And it looks like it's new. I mean, obviously they won a lot of awards in 2023.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're just in 2024, halfway through 2024. So I think over the next couple months, you're going to see more and more and more of this. You're going to see it in more grocery stores. You're going to see it in more on-site restaurants and stuff like that. That's coming for fruition. So I'm excited to try it at the next show.
Yes.
Next show. I guess we're getting some bottles sent overnighted or something.
We are. I like it. I'm excited.
Ballgame to the rescue, huh?
Always got to throw that touchdown.
Got to throw it.
Want to talk about your experience because we were sitting here the other day and, I think I wrote down on a piece of paper. I'm like, yeah, we probably got like 30 years of hospitality experience. And it's apparently 50.
50, yes. We're showing our age.
And I think
for being 25, I'm not sure I have 50 years of experience, but I guess I do now. So, but so I've been in the hospitality industry since I was 18 years old, graduated high school, started promoting clubs in Gainesville, Florida. And then, you work your way up from there to manage clubs and bartend and bar back. And I think I've done everything but sing. I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing. So I've been in the industry my whole life pretty much. And I love the hospitality industry. I love that it changes every couple of years. Almost every year it changes, but every 5-10 years you have to think of new ideas and new things within the industry because it changes. It could be a tax thing that changes or pandemic changed. I mean, we all had to change after 2020 on the way we thought and the way things and the prices go up. So now you got to get creative. And I think the hospitality industry is forever changing.
Oh, constantly.
I'd say most time in a good way. I mean, sometimes it's not the best way, but mostly in a good way. It changes in a direction. It's fun to think about the new things. So being in the business for 25 years, there's never a dull moment.
No.
Never a dull moment. And then when you're relying on staff and managers to show up and staff to show up and on time and
it's always fun.
Park in the right spots and you clock in and they forget. You have to spend 3 hours to adjust things. So it's forever changing. But I think it's going to be great on the show to be able to talk about a lot of things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Bring on a lot of bartenders and bring on, managers from other places and corporate managers to see how things work in different ways.
Yeah.
And your experience, so you've been doing this for...
I think I'm at 24, because I had 24, 25 years. I was 14 or 15 when I started bussing tables. And then I think I was in the dish pit. And then I worked my way up to the...
You really did work at the bottom. See, I started promoting. You were cleaning dishes.
I was a dishwasher. And I was super excited. I remember when I got promoted to prep cook, man. $10 an hour. I was rich.
That was a lot back then.
It was. I was like
60, right? That was great, Joe. That's awesome.
But man, I'll never forget that. That $10 an hour. Like when I got to that, there was no higher ceiling. Like,
there wasn't.
I'm rich.
Yep. And now look where it is today, $8.98 an hour in Florida. For servers and bartenders. And then September it's going to $9.98.
So $9.98.
Basically $10 an hour. Yeah. It's going to $9.98 an hour. I couldn't imagine. I'm going to show my age here. When I started, it was $2.10 an hour.
Yeah.
$2.10 an hour. And it's crazy. I mean, you think it's 4 times the amount now.
Yeah.
And businesses, I think, and we'll get into that later in the show, but I think talking about this could be, how hard it is for businesses. It's great. You want to take care of the staff. I'm glad the servers are making money.
Absolutely.
I want, because without them, there would be no restaurant. Yeah. But also what it does, I mean, our payroll in the last 10 years has doubled, tripled, quadrupled. And then I think it's hurted customer service a little bit. We're all looking for ways to save. And I think that hurts on it. But we're going to get that later in the show. I'm going to get ahead and we're going to spend 3.5 hours talking about tips and everything else. We'll forget our important guests that we have here with us today.
Yeah, very excited to introduce the mayor of Edgewater, Deizel Depew. Deizel was the youngest elected official in Florida history. And 2 or 3 of mayors 18 years old elected in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Deizel Depew.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to have you. And, when me and Jeremy were talking, this being episode 1, and I was like, man, we have this really cool story right in town, at home, at 18 years old. What makes you go, you know what? I graduated high school. I'm going to go run the city today.
Well, I'll give you my story. I went to my very first commission meeting when I was 12 years old. I stayed involved. I caught the political bug. At that time, I was 12 years old also. I created a lawn and landscaping business right in Edgewater and Florida Shores where we both live. And I gained a lot of community attention through that. The first year I started, I had all my lawn equipment swiped. The community came together for me, and one day I wanted to repay that favor with public service. So I stayed involved. I went to every commission meeting since I was 12 years old. I knew the process. When I was 18, I knew it was time to throw my hat in, and I believed that I was the right man at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't go very far in Edgewater without seeing Edgewater runs on Deizel sign.
Well, as long as nobody takes them out of the ground.
As long as someone takes them out.
As long as nobody takes them out of the ground. I mean, you see them everywhere there is. So
That's true.
So you're elected until your term is till 2026. Correct?
Yes, it is.
So it's 4 years, correct?
It is 4 years.
And then you get to run again, because if I'm not mistaken, Mayor, you can run over and over again.
You can just
There's not a
have 2
2-year
terms.
It's only 2 terms.
2 terms, 2 consecutive terms. You could take a break and always come back.
So you can take a break for 4 years and come back for 2. Take a break for 4 years and come back. You could do this for the rest of your life if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully the next step for you is, after mayor of Edgewater, what would be the next step that you're looking to go to?
Well,
I don't think you want to get out of the business.
No, I'd like to stay in the political game as long as I possibly can. I love it. Love giving back.
And you definitely are giving back, because I don't want to talk about too much, but the $700 a month salary has got to be. I'm sorry, I don't want to go into some what people get paid. I did get that information.
That's all it is.
But, but honestly, on your side, we're going to talk about tips and how the servers are bunch. But $700 a month. I mean,
That's all it is.
I'm sorry, and I don't want to go much
is.
into it, but you should be getting more than that.
I agree.
It's a
Absolutely agree.
it's a full-time job.
Full-time
So
job. You
it
get
is.
health care. You get some health care. You get medical benefits, and $700 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe your cell phone bill, your car insurance, and maybe your car payment's paid, but that's it. But all that they're doing,
Not even.
all that they're doing, I think that should be,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe it should definitely be a higher paid job. And, do you really want a mayor that's going to have his business and spend most of his time on that and only a little bit on the actual city?
Let me ask you this. Can you own your own business as mayor?
Oh, absolutely.
You can work for a business. You can own a business.
Oh,
Like
of course.
you could own a restaurant, or you could own a lawn care company if you wanted to run that business and still be mayor.
Just as long as it's not a conflict within city business.
Yeah. Yeah, so there can't be any. Well, it's so
Such as development, if you own a development parcel that you're trying to develop and you had to vote for it on the council, or you're looking for
I think you're
political
going to vote for
favors
yourself,
from
right?
City Hall.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
So, yes, you can. You can. It's certainly a full-time job. It's no joke. I've gone to 19 things in one day. So I'm sure it would be very tough to own a business and be the mayor. I did it when I was first elected, and it was just too time consuming.
So you're going to school right now, correct?
I am enrolled at Liberty University. I will be attending starting next month. Yes.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
And political science, right?
Public and a minor in political science and a major in public administration.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the restaurants, Edgewater. So for people that don't know, for the show, Edgewater is just outside of New Smyrna. New Smyrna is just outside of Daytona. Basically. If you because we talk about Daytona a lot, Daytona, but there are several surrounding cities: Holly Hill, Ormond, New Smyrna, and Edgewater. Pretty much make up the greater Daytona area. So I looked up a couple of things on their restaurants. I mean, I show 40 restaurants that you have, but you said it was a little bit less. But it's probably adding some catering companies, some side businesses in there. But
I would say it's around 14 to 15 public restaurants.
Yeah. And how many of those, do we know how many of those are corporate ones?
I would say
King, the Taco Bells.
We have the Taco Bell, we have the Chick-fil-A, but restaurant-wise, you got Dustin's, you got Alberto's.
So let's say about half are corporate.
Absolutely. My favorite, Riptides, of course. in
Riptide's
Edgewater.
is good.
It is.
Yeah.
It's great.
So are you looking at, I mean, we're always looking, I'm sure, for more restaurants, but is there something we're doing in the Edgewater area to get more restaurants come in? Are there any grants? Are there any, hey, you want to open up a second location in Edgewater? Give us a call. You know, because a lot of people have an Ormond and they seem to have a Port Orange. You know, they have an Ormond, they have a Daytona, and they have a DeLand. Great to have Ormond and have an Edgewater, especially with a lot of the new things that are coming, you know, to the city over the next couple of years.
Well, I certainly hear that a lot in the public, and that we don't have enough restaurants. It's one of their major concerns. We have a CRA district grant. It's a wonderful thing. You can look into it on our city website. We have a lot of opportunities that would allow you to develop in Edgewater and come to Edgewater with a good quality restaurant or something of quality to give kind of service to our residents is certainly needed. CRA, and we have several opportunity zones that would allow someone to come in the city, develop a good quality, and move forward to have a great business through grants that we offer.
And speaking of new places, the water park that we heard about a year ago. I think we've heard a lot about a year ago, and it's died off a little bit, but that happens because they're going through their development program. But the water park over there is still going to happen.
Perfect swell. It's still going to happen. I hear it's still going to happen. We approved the PUD, and I think it'll be back up for public comment very soon.
Which that will bring more hospitality jobs. And obviously, you know, as we were talking about off mic, is I think it will bring a lot of more subdivisions around there and apartment complexes and then more other restaurants. And someone's going to build a shopping plaza right down the street with a convenience store and a burrito place. And before you know it, one great, you know, business coming that's for all ages is going to help expand that entire area. And it's going to be on the other side of 95, correct?
Well, yes. It's going to be on the other side of 95, the west side of 95, and it will also be around the Deering Park development.
And you know the Deering Park Park area.
Yeah, there's a lot of property back there. There was at one point, me and my buddy Sean were looking into putting the Snoop Dogg concert out on that property right near the gas station.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Edgewater Ranch.
Yeah. Yeah, and we could have gotten the property. It just, you know, things fell through with the stage company, which they were great. It just Snoop Dogg's timing and stage just didn't work out. But
Snoop Dogg and Edgewater.
That would have been unique.
It didn't work out.
Would have been unique. It would have been.
Unique. But you're going to need someone like Tim McGraw to open up for Snoop Dogg.
That would have been a show.
Another thing is hotels over there. There's 2-3 hotels that do that, one branded and 2 non-branded or like 2 non-flagged.
There's a Best Western, so that's probably the bigger hotel in Edgewater. And then what else do we have?
We have the All Suites Motel, and we also have the Carter's Motel located right in Edgewater. And Carter's also has villages around there. There's also places you could stay along the river that rent out by the week or by the night as well. But basically 3 hotels.
A lot of Airbnbs?
Typically, no. Typically not in Edgewater. There's a few here and there, of course.
Yeah. A lot of the Airbnbs, I think, mainly go coastal side.
Absolutely. Side. More coastal.
Yeah. And one thing, being here, we're talking government, right? And we're talking how we can better. I love the fact that there's grants that go along with that. And, I think it's a true story that people don't know that these cities offer grants.
They don't.
The city council meeting I was at, I think a couple months ago, and, just seeing all the grants for the storefronts. And
CRA.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question on that. Let me play devil's advocate. Why aren't we advertising that? Why
it's advertised.
It's all advertised?
Absolutely, it is. We held multiple meetings on it each year. We advertise it. It's one of the first things you see when you go on our website. We posted it on our Facebook page several times, and we have an electronic board it's on. So we do all we can on our part to make sure
that people get that opportunity.
Absolutely, that existing businesses get that opportunity, and if you're looking to expand in our wonderful city.
See, whenever I go on the website, my eyes tear up because I have to pay the water bill.
Well, working on that as well.
Yeah, I heard you guys were you got contracts out, right? Or yeah. Where's that coming?
Well, we hired a new consultant firm out of Orlando. We're in the budget period right now. The budget cycle. We'll know his findings very soon.
Okay, cool. So we're you're making a path.
Absolutely.
To try and get there.
Absolutely.
Nothing happens overnight.
No, it doesn't.
It takes
especially in government.
Yes, it takes extra time.
Especially in government.
Speaking of government, the Donald Trump tax.
Yes.
And I don't want to call it the Donald Trump, but that's what they're calling it.
Well, Donald Trump this is what he wants to do when he's, if he gets elected in office, he wants to do the no tax on tips, which.
What do you think?
I love it. I love it for the servers. I love it for the bartenders. It's one of those, because now here, because I haven't, we don't know the full aspect of it. My question is with that, say you take the tips away or the tax away, right? So now how much are these servers and bartenders going to owe at the end of the year because their taxes weren't, or there's no taxes, or do they not owe? Are they tax exempt?
So wait a minute, if you're a bartender, you're basically, if you're saying I'm a bartender,
yeah,
and that's all I do, I'm tax exempt now.
So you're not taxed, like your hourly wage, I believe you get taxed on, but the tips, you wouldn't.
And we can go into hourly wage, but $8.98 an hour, it keeps going up. So you
get $9.98 September 30th.
Yep, $9.98 September, and if the Florida rule is it's going up to what, $11.98 for tipped employees.
I know it'll go up $1 a year every year until we hit 15 for the minimum wage,
which is 3 months.
So that'll be 13. Yeah.
So $9.98 tonight, $11.98.
Yeah, 11.
So in the next 3 years, so in the next 3 years, servers and bartenders will make it $12 an hour. And if the Trump thing goes through, they won't pay in taxes.
Yeah.
So if that happens, which I commend, it's got to come somewhere. Someone's going to pay taxes on it. Somebody.
Yeah, it's going to. I'm curious to see.
Going to somewhere. It's going to have to go somewhere. And does that come from the restaurants? Does that come from the businesses that the bars, the restaurants, and nightclubs? Also, we're paying more taxes.
Yeah. And
on the opposite side, I love it. Hope it goes through. Hope it happens. But the problem I have is every year it goes up $1 for us, and that's just hurting our.
Yeah. So here's where I sit on that with the $12, 13, the minimum wage. I get that. That should be raised up, and it should have a progressive, for your minimum. But your server, your tipped employees, I think it's too much.
I do.
I mean, because you're.
I'm glad the tax thing, like we just talked about.
Absolutely.
Let's go back. I'm glad. I'm happy for. I don't want anybody to think that I'm not happy that they're not going to get tipped on their taxes. But also $8.98, $9.98, and that's a state thing. Yeah, that's not all states. I mean,
no,
I was just in Nashville, and it was $2 an hour. Yeah. I talked to 3 different bartenders, and they're like, "Yeah, we make $2 an hour," and I'm like, I remember the 213, 208, 8 out, things. And
well, remember back when we started, that paycheck would just be zero at the end of the week anyway, because all your taxes from your tips,
right,
would be taken right out of your paycheck.
Pick up my paycheck for 3 weeks or 5 weeks, and then
went 3 months one time,
right, and then all of a sudden, all my paychecks added up together was $81. So we never picked it, and now people are going, and now their paychecks.
Well, now there's a couple $100 on there, so you're gonna go grab that,
right? And I just think to lead on to that, I don't think they thought about $8.98, $9.98, $10.98, $11.98. All that's doing is, I think, forcing the restaurants and bars and nightclubs to watch their spending.
Oh yeah.
So then we're not putting 2 servers on. We're just going to put 1. We're going to stagger, and we're going to stagger.
Yeah, bring 1 in at this time, then stagger another one in, and
then stagger this one out. And, hey, we're slow. Cut a kitchen guy. Cut this. Cut. Yeah. Now, ultimately, that hurts what? The customer, because it's customer service.
Yeah.
So if you notice, I mean, I think a lot of people can agree the customer service, and I haven't been everywhere in the world or United States, but everywhere you go, customer service doesn't seem the same as it used to be.
No.
And I'm not calling any particular restaurant, but there's a lot of places where it's the same as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's not the fault, I think, of the restaurant owner, because he's trying to watch his tips, he's trying to watch.
Well, you're trying to watch your labor percentage. I mean, that's, labor for a restaurant, labor's going to hurt you more than anything else when it comes to profitability. That's the first thing that'll take you out. And when you're paying more.
But they're forcing restaurants out now is what they're doing, at least in Florida, because we're literally in the next 3 years, it's going to be $11.98 an hour. That's going to hurt. People in the restaurant business aren't necessarily going to be able to make it at $12 an hour, almost 2 pennies shy of $12 an hour for every hour for every employee that's tipped.
I mean, hell, give me $12 an hour, let me bartend for 5 hours, make a couple $100 and go home.
Think about it. If you're not busy for 5-6 hours, you have to keep a bartender on, right?
Yeah.
That just costs you $60, $70 on top of lights, electricity, water, rent, insurance, and everything else. So I think you're going to see over the next couple of years less and less restaurants wanting to open. Let's say not restaurants, less and less hospitality venues wanting to open.
Yeah.
It's going to be that industry like, I don't want to open one up. It's not worth it, you know? And like the cell phone game. People don't open up cell phone stores like they used to because the cell phone plates and the antennas that glow aren't what they used to be. So people are like, you know, I'm not opening up any more cell phone stores, and they started dying. Will that happen in restaurants? Not dying.
No.
Well, they're going to go extinct, but we're going to get those new restaurants. Some of these corporates going to go, let's open up 37 locations this year like they've been doing, and they're going to go, let's just open up 10, man, because it's not worth it.
Yeah. And I mean, you've been at this long enough, like I have. I mean, the restaurant's constantly changing. The hospitality industry is constantly changing. You constantly have to adapt. I mean, hell, look at, Corona threw a wrench through all of us. We were all calling each other like, so, like, can we open? Are you opening? Am I opening? I mean, I'm going to try. Do you think you'll get arrested? Like, it was so insane. And then having to go with the to-goes and, just doing that, and then, oh my God. And
then remember the to-go alcohol. Now you can sell alcohol to go. So I could give you.
Then had to have food and cluster.
I remember one of the venues I had. We opened it up, put menus on the table, didn't care if people ordered, put a DJ out there, called it a restaurant, still was like a club, and we were packed.
Dude, when we first opened back up, I swear to God, I should have got a shirt that said social distancing police, because that's what I did for 2 months. I ran around the restaurant and said, you're too close. You're too close.
You're just moving everybody back and forth.
And you imagine trying to tell like a college, 20, 30 college kids that, hey, 6 feet apart. Oh yeah, fuck you,
buddy.
buddy.
They still have the 6 feet apart?
Well, not anymore. But then when they first opened restaurants, you had to keep your tables. Like we didn't have to take bar chairs away, but they had to be 6 feet apart. Or you could have two people that were together, like a husband and a wife, but then another couple came in, they would have to be 6 feet apart. Separating like tables and all that was super easy. You're losing some tables, but that's fine. But when you get, younger people that are there getting drunk during Corona, and you can't keep them.
I don't know. We could have a whole show just on that.
Jesus.
Just on that.
Episode 32. Over a year.
We've been on it for 3 weeks on that one. But back to the tax thing. So overall, we think it's going to be a good thing.
I do.
And I agree with you. But again, I'm curious over the next 3 to 4 years, restaurants and 8.9 in Florida anyway, $8.98, $9.98, $10.98, $11.98. I mean, it's just going to. I think maybe $10.98 is when it stops. I'm sorry. So So $10.98 is where it's going to stop. $11 an hour for hospitality. I mean,
it's insane.
It was $2.13 an hour, and it wasn't long ago. It was 20 years ago. We're not talking many years ago, and they're not going to get. It's almost like a bartender's going to be a thing to do.
Yeah,
but then people aren't going to open up as many restaurants because this. So it's.
No, and the crazy thing, the thing that threw me off about that, like when he did the raises. So the minimum wage, like I said, I get. But when we were raising the tipped employees, so you're raising them. Obviously, costs go up, whether it be labor, food, alcohol. When costs go up, what goes up? The menu price. So when the menu price goes up, servers and bartenders are already getting a raise when that menu goes up, because they're getting a percentage as a tip. So the thing I say, why raise the dollar per hour when the menus go up and inflation and all that, they're getting a raise anyway.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And I think when something happens in the hospitality industry like this, it's not just one thing, it's 7 things.
Yeah.
It's a trickle effect, because then food goes up, and then we cut labor, and then we have bad customer service. Then you do this, and it's a big trickle effect all the way around.
Oh yeah.
It's going to make the hospitality industry, I think, harder and harder every year.
I did a meeting with a couple of my managers. I was like, all right, guys, look, we need to be tight on labor. We need to stop any bad reviews. But it is. It's that balancing act.
It's an oxymoron. You can't tell me to have better reviews and tighten labor.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, because then your customers are biting bad reviews because, for an example, you didn't seat them in time. They waited too long for their chicken sandwich. They didn't get their drink in amount of time because not you personally, but you asked them watching labor, but yet you're getting bad reviews. It's going to be one or the other.
Oh yeah.
It's no more of No, it's somebody doing 8 jobs. Like instead, don't bring on a hostess. We'll have the bartender run food. And then again, now bartender's running her own food. and serving drinks. So you're losing money because she can't tend to the customers and produce 200 drinks in her shift. She's only producing 170 drinks in her shift. And she's got to run food because you want to sit, not you personally, but the restaurant wants to save $10 an hour. It's going to make it very difficult over the years.
Yeah, it's just that, I've always said running a restaurant is a football guy, a lot like football. You can have a game plan going into the day. You know what you're doing. Guess what? If you open at 11 o'clock, 11:07, that plan is usually fucked.
It doesn't.
And you're calling audibles. That's what you're doing.
Just like an event.
You're expecting, all right, so this is going to happen. This is how I expect the day to go. I'm going to have this person on. You have a game plan. You're walking in there with that game plan, right? And then someone calls out or, this shit happens.
Right.
And it does every day. We're used to it. But calling that audible and be able to make those decisions on the fly, that's what you're going to do all day. And it's what you have to do. You have to be able to audible and you have to be able to take, because it's never going to be easy. I mean, I think one time this year I've been like, oh, this is the smoothest day I've had in a long time. But
and as soon as you said that, it jinxed you. As soon as you said that, that was it. That was it. But again, I think it's going to be interesting over the next couple of years on how things are played out.
Yeah.
The taxes, the tips, payroll, hospitality, getting food. I mean, remember 2020, it was hard to get food.
And toilet paper.
And tequila. And rum. It was hard to get anything. I mean, I remember you were out of something. We had it. We couldn't get it. You got
it. Was the 1942.
It was.
It was the 1942.
You had it. And I couldn't get it. And then I think
people that still had 1942.
Patron. I had Patron. You did.
Yeah, I couldn't get Patron, but you had it.
Right.
So we did a nice little swap.
Right. Right. And it's just crazy. And again, it's going to be very interesting over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
It's going to be. And I think we'll talk about more on the show and things that go on and things that'll happen in the ballgame. And I'm excited to bring on some of the guests because we have talked about we're going to bring on some corporate restaurant guys because I want to hear from them on their side of it because you and I are kind of non-corporate.
Yeah, we've never been corporate people.
Yeah, I'm not a corporate guy, which I think is a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
You meet a corporate guy, they just think you're weird and have a disease, and then you meet, but we're like we're the ones doing it right. But we'll bring on some corporate guys. I know I've reached out to a couple of them, and they're going to come on the show. And we want to talk like the hospitality of NASCAR, the hospitality of football. Like football season's coming up. We're not a sports show, but I think we can talk about the hospitality and how much money that hot dog helps pay for things.
Yeah.
And that beer helps pay for things. And why is a beer $31 at a stadium when you go right down the street and get it for $7 and you could buy it at the grocery store for $1.50?
Well, I think it was, me being a Philly guy. Of course, I think the Eagles or the Phillies, one of them is the highest priced beer in the country. It was insane. I can't remember what it was. I think it was $14 or $16 for a beer.
Like a 9-ounce?
You might get a 16. Yeah, you might get a 16. It's been a while since I've been up in Philly, but
they're not even a good team. How could you charge that much?
Super Bowl World Series.
Come on. I just had to push your buttons a little bit on that way. That's why they call you the ball game. Oh, there's your guy. You got your Phillies thing. Jeez.
Put Fanatic up. Boom.
You're the Orlando Magic guy.
No, it's the Philly Fanatic.
The Orlando Magic stuffed the Magic Dragon from Orlando or whatever. Doesn't it look like it? Oh, okay. All right.
He was around a lot longer than the Magic.
Another thing, speaking of sports and football and all that stuff, the NFL ticket this year I think is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Because for years it's been one way, and now it's going to be completely different. But they still have their hands in it, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, so I was super confused when that first came out because when YouTube TV they did the bid.
But first, DirecTV's had it for 10 years?
Longer than that, I think.
DirecTV's had it forever. It was their league basically. They paid the rights.
Yeah, and then when YouTube TV came in, and I saw what they were going to do, and it being a streaming platform. And I wouldn't have to. I mean, the satellite dish is still sitting on my roof, but I don't use it anymore.
It says DirecTV, the little circle right there is half falling off.
But yeah, I did. Once YouTube TV came out, I canceled DirecTV. I got that, and boom.
So what's the thing? So YouTube, so they own the rights to the NFL now. The TV rights, I should say.
So they own the stations like your Fox, your CBS. They own the rights to the games that they play. They have a certain contract in with them. Oh yeah. They have a certain contract in with them. And then for residential, Sunday ticket to watch every game every Sunday, that's YouTube TV. And then DirecTV.
So if I have YouTube TV at my house or whatever,
Yeah.
why can't I just turn it on at my bar?
I mean, don't get caught.
Well, no, I don't want to do anything illegal because that's not what we do here on this show.
Oh, but no, I mean, it makes sense.
But why is that? And that's another thing I've always wondered for years. Why can't I get the NFL ticket at home? Remember when they used to do swap to us and we'll give you the NFL ticket for free?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why can't I sit at home with 30 people in my living room, 50 people in my living room, or my theater that I don't have that I want to have, and have 70 people in my movie theater watching the game, and you're going to charge me either free because I switched or charge me $800 for the year. But if I'm a sports bar that holds 30 seats, you're charging me $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, and so on.
So the way DirecTV does it, they charge you per seat. So take a restaurant. This blew my mind in Key West. God, we're going back probably 2010. I wanted to get the Sunday ticket. Football. I had a nice, beautiful 172-inch projector screen, 4 TVs. It wasn't a big place. So I had all these seats, and they wanted. I called to get the Sunday ticket. They wanted $6,400. I was like, half my place can't even see a TV, man, and it didn't matter.
Nope.
It goes by your fire marshal seating line.
Same for the fights.
Oh yeah, it's every
little thing. Which is why some of the places that I work with, they have rooms and they have other places. So even if we want to get on 3 TVs, our capacity is like 500 something. That's what they charge us on.
Yeah.
Even though really we're going to show a TV holds 50 people.
Yep.
And but yet again, I can go home and sit there and watch it for $49.95 for the whole year, watch every game, which it doesn't make sense to me. Which I honestly, I think it's another thing that's hurting the bars and hurting the restaurants. Not as many are getting them like they used to.
No.
I mean, I've seen a lot of places that, we show the Florida, you can watch the Tampa Bay game as long as Jacksonville isn't playing. We'll put on the Miami game as long as, Dallas isn't playing or whoever. But I think less and less bars are buying it because less and less people are going out because they can sit at home.
I mean, well, think of this, just the cost of it. I mean, God, it's probably $9,000. Oh, it's all by seat, but it's expensive to have it. So, man, you look, food costs going up. All costs are going up. Labor's going up. And then, you want to get football on your TV and it's going to cost you close to $10,000? Like, come on.
Again, I keep saying it's making the restaurant and hospitality industry harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
It's making those giant, restaurants that we used to open that holds, 700 people. It's not worth it anymore.
No.
It seems like a lot more smaller place. I mean, and this, again, I haven't been anywhere. This is the Daytona, Volusia County area. Smaller restaurants are opening up. Lunch and dinner places, taco places. I see more that, hey, we hold 70 people. We hold 110 people. Not these mega restaurants or mega clubs or mega bars or anything. And I say mega being like 400 or 500 people. Yeah. But those big restaurants, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
And I don't think they'll ever come back because now with labor cost, with rent cost, with
everything,
with all of
that's
it,
not coming
back. And I call them mega restaurants. But you know what I'm saying? The restaurant that holds 700 people and has 72 servers and 6 hostess working at the same time, those are gone. And I don't think
unless you're in Disney or New York.
Now it's
probably California.
Now it's these restaurants that hold 50 people, 80 people, 120, 150, and they have a smaller bar. Those are the ones that seem to be more. I'd say more the mom and pops or the ones that are individually owned seem to be more the ones that are opening rather than the bigger
chains. Yeah.
And again, cheaper, you need 1 hostess, not 6. You need 7 servers, not 47 servers.
So remember, probably like 2011, it started to slow up. The hospitality wise, it was just an off year. And I remember in 2011 sitting here, I'm like, we are, not doing well. And, looking back, and people's credit card debt was at like 120% of their income. So no one had the extra money to go out to restaurants. So a lot of the bigger restaurants ended up shutting down. It was smaller places and only needed 12 employees to run. That's where you're going to make your money.
And again, I go back. I think that's what's going to happen more and more.
Yeah, but it comes in waves. I mean,
you're going to see these places, as an example, like Fish in Port Orange, had such high overhead. I'm not getting on what happened or what. No, I mean, not taking side, but I know they had such high overhead. They had 2 giant bars, 3 kitchens. 70 people in there looked dead. 170 people looked okay, and you had to have 300 to really make money.
Yeah, to make money.
And they unfortunately couldn't make it because of, I think, labor was a huge aspect.
Yeah.
And then food cost, and then this cost, and everything else just kept adding up over and over.
Oh yeah.
And I think you're really going to see over the next couple of years, they all lead together. NFL ticket. I don't think they're going to see as many restaurants. YouTube TV is going to see as many subscribers from the bars and restaurants and this as DirecTV did 10 years ago.
So crazy fact. The last year was YouTube TV's first year with the Sunday Ticket, right? They sold, I think it was like double the amount of residential Sunday tickets than DirecTV ever has. So now think about it. And
why do you think that is?
It's because the satellite dish. People are weird about their roofs.
Agreed. But also, YouTube is a brand and had a brand.
Oh, yeah.
DirecTV was just TV.
Yeah.
But YouTube is so many more things.
No.
I don't think of YouTube TV as
cheaper with YouTube.
Right.
No. So I got DirecTV years ago, and I had the satellite on because it was the only way I could watch the Eagles if I wasn't up in Jersey. But the minute DirecTV came or YouTube TV came in, I canceled my DirecTV.
And what'd that save you a month?
Fuck, I don't even know.
But it did say it was
it's saved. Yeah, it probably saved me like $60-$70 a month, give or take.
So $600-$700 a year.
Yeah.
And so you said this year YouTube TV saw more residential buys than DirecTV ever
has.
What about the bars and the hospitality?
So in that article, they didn't say anything about the bars and restaurants, whether they went up or down. It was basically just about the YouTube TV and what they did.
Well, it made it convenient. You put it on your phone. That's what restaurants need to do. Yeah. Bring in your phone. We'll put a little holder, put a speaker to it, and you watch whatever you want.
Do you
know what? I think I just got the idea. You come in, you plug your phone in, your TV's right there and shows whatever you want on it.
I mean, you could do that.
So your personal TV for everyone there.
Get a little, what were they called? Sound dogs? Speakers, the portable speakers. I love them.
Everybody could be wearing earphones inside there.
Oh, God, I love the speaker, man. I'd have the speaker right at the bar, just blast my guy. I didn't care who was sitting next to me.
I remember a couple restaurants would have those over the years, and it's just, it'll be interesting this year for football season, and then college football with paid athletes now and.
Paid athletes now?
Wow.
Legally paid athletes.
They've been paying since the Michael Jordan days, but it's just no big deal. His mom got 2 new Mercedes right out of college, but stuff happens.
She got lucky.
She got lucky. Won the lottery. What do you got drafted?
Give Reggie Bush his Heisman back.
That's right. They did take Reggie Bush. Now we're getting into the sports world. Now
I just want to say that every day until they give it back to him.
They should. So, and another thing, I don't want to keep talking about things going up, but we're kind of on that train with things going on. Insurance, even insurance for restaurants and bars have tripled.
Yeah, it is way more than doubled.
And we're talking about liability insurance and everything else. And on top of that, most people pay car insurance or health insurance, and it's $200-$300 for car insurance, $400 for car insurance maybe, and your health insurance comes out of your check, and it's $70 a pay week. I mean, we're talking $10,000-$20,000 a month.
Oh yeah,
for and I don't think a lot of people understand that is bars, nightclubs, restaurants. I mean, your insurance is not $1,000 a month. Your insurance is $18,000, $20,000. It's almost $1,000 a day to have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little less, but
I mean, it's still up there. And the crazy thing is with the coastal area in Florida in general, no one will insure businesses near the coast. Like they got like 2 companies, and they're
gonna skyrocket.
Yeah,
and they can, because you have to have insurance to run your business.
Yeah, can't do anything about it.
Just because you were paying $90,000 last year, and now you're paying $210,000, it's not their problem.
Yep.
And another reason that drives food cost up, and it drives everything up, and employees are going up. But it's a hard market. It's a hard market that I think will level itself out. Over time.
It will. Come on, Karen. Low rating only because I asked Google for soul food near me, and the menu did not hit that mark for me. Not their fault, but I left without ordering. 1-star review.
Come on, Karen.
Come on, Karen.
So she gave them a 1-star because she Googled soul food. And Google told her that, let's just call it XYZ restaurant.
Yeah.
So Google said, hey, XYZ restaurant has soul food. She went there. They didn't have soul food, and she gave him a 1 rating.
Yeah, and she didn't even order anything. So, like, you didn't even try the food. You literally went in there, looked at a menu, was like, oh, this is not what Google told me. And then give them a 1-star review. You didn't even try the damn food. At least try the food.
I don't even know how to. I don't even know. Like, if I was on the receiving end of XYZ restaurant, I don't even know how to respond.
Yeah,
Actually, you know, I do know how to respond. I do know how to respond. Karen, we'd like you to come in and try some of our food and take this 1 rating to a 5 rating for non-soul food at XYZ restaurant. Because that's the only thing I can think. But she actually took the time to go on there, give the restaurant a 1 star for something they're not
Tell them it's not their fault.
or claim this and say I gave 1 star. It's not their fault, but I'm giving them a 1 star.
Yeah.
Now, can you give Google a 1 star?
No, but if you try.
Wait a minute. Can you give Google ratings a 1 star for Google?
That would be hilarious if you could.
So wait a minute. Google lets you rate everybody else, but not themselves.
Google.
I'm rating Google. I'm gonna have a rate Google show. Come on, that just makes sense.
Oh God, have you ever tried to report a review?
Oh, tons of times.
Yeah, I tried to. Very rarely do they ever get taken off.
You know what you gotta do? Say there's curse words in there.
Yeah, but if there's not, they don't take it off.
Or it's what was the other one? There's
harassment.
Harassment. I'm sorry, not the curse words. You give them the harassment one, even if it's slightly like this guy was mean, that could be considered harassment. They'll have to take it down.
Because you know what, Jeremy? He hurt my feelings
because he didn't have soul food. That's just crazy. Come on, Karen. I mean, you know, and I can't wait for the emails that we're gonna get about all the come on Karens that are gonna be going through. Because you check out our website and it's going to have a Come On Karen section. Because I really want to grow on this. I really think it's going to be great to, over the years, see the Come On Karens that you and I don't know about. That someone in Idaho or someone in Paris, France is going to go, I got a better Come On Karen for you. And I know there's people out there that have a better Karen.
Absolutely.
Come on, Karen.
Absolutely. And man, I don't think people realize how much like a 1-star review affects a restaurant, you know, especially when it's one of the newest, like people, especially in a tourist town, you know, you're in a tourist town and they're going on Google, they're going on, you know,
how much do you think a 1-star affects you at your business?
I mean, I think anything negative that's out there about anybody's business is going to affect it.
But then what are restaurants doing to get the better ones? No, you know, I go to restaurants quite a bit. Yeah. No one's ever asked me. No one in the past 6 months. And I go to a lot of restaurants. Yes, I know some people have them and some I don't. Yeah. Not one server, manager, bartender, kitchen guys ever come to me and be like, hey, how was your food? Can you give us a good review if you'd like?
Really?
Never.
Oh.
Which I try to distill that in the place that we have. We've talked about it, is ask for that review.
Absolutely.
Ask for it. Because most of the time, if they had a not great service, let's call it, they're going to tell you right there. I'm not giving you a 1-star review. You guys suck.
Yeah.
They'll tell you right there.
Yeah.
But most time you'll get a good one. But I think if you have a bad review, I think that's your fault as a restaurant. Yeah. I'm sorry. The Come On Karen, like that Karen was good.
That's not the restaurant.
But nobody's reading that and not going to that restaurant. If that I'm going to call it XYZ restaurant again.
Yeah.
If I read that review and I showed up in Atlanta, Georgia, and that was the review I saw, I'm still going to that restaurant. Yeah. That would not deter me from going to the restaurant that Karen said a 1-star review because they didn't have soul food that they never claimed to have.
Yeah.
So, but other reviews, I think if you don't do, and it's not always reporting them or trying to comment on them, I think it's about overdoing them and asking your great customers to give you ones and asking, hey, did you have a great experience? Can you let our guests know so we can have even more guests here?
Yeah.
So I don't think it hurts. I think you only let it hurt if it hurt. It only hurts if you let it hurt your restaurant.
Here's how I like me. It's not going to bother me that much. Okay, do I hate to see it? Sure. You know, is it aggravating? Sure. You know, you want to try and find out what happened. You know, say you weren't there that day. Then you got to try and find out who the server was. You want to know what happened, because if there was a problem and it's on your staff as the manager, that's on you to teach your staff to not, you know, to how to handle those situations. So you want to know what happened for sure.
Do you teach your managers to teach your staff?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So when the review happens, do you go to the manager or do you go to the staff?
I usually go right to the managers themselves. Like I send it in a group text like, hey, just popped up.
You're the group text guy at midnight. I get a freaking group text, aren't you?
I am the group text.
You're the group text guy. You're the one I have to block that group text on a Friday night.
Well, yeah, because I mean that should pop up on my phone, man. Like a 1-star review, and I'm like, fuck. But yeah,
Well, if you get a 1-star review again, Joe, start serving soul food, okay? That's all I can tell you. I'm not sure what else to tell you. Serve some soul food and you won't get 1-star reviews. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. But
it's one of those, like, because there are some legit reviews that's like, yeah, they fucked up. But I mean, there's so many that, like this one, that the restaurant didn't stand a chance.
The worst one I have is that when somebody orders a food product, and says it doesn't taste like this, their mom's, the other restaurant they went to. It doesn't taste like the seafood restaurant I go to in New England. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Or it doesn't taste like my mom's meatloaf. Nothing's going to taste like your mom's meatloaf. And they give a negative or a 1 or 2 stars for something that doesn't taste like their mom's meatloaf, or the restaurant in Connecticut that they go to all the time. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't say it's bad because it doesn't taste like somebody else's. You don't prefer it because you like the way it's cooked somewhere else. It doesn't mean it's bad.
Well, and that's the thing. It's your preference. This is what you like. You're not going to.
But say then 5-star, everything was great. Wasn't a huge fan of the clam chowder, let's say. Yeah. I like clam chowder. Doesn't quite taste like the one I get in New England, but I do like clam chowder, but not a big fan of the clam chowder at XYZ restaurant. That's okay. But to give them a 1-star review because the clam chowder doesn't taste like the restaurant you have in New England doesn't make sense to me.
No.
But they do it all the time. So I think there should be limitations on what they can put. It seems like Google's very one-sided. You can write whatever you want as long as you don't harass them. It could be a total lie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As long as you don't harass them, curse them, religion, sex, politics, any of this stuff, you can write whatever you want. But we can't write back that part or say certain things like that. So there should be limitations.
I've seen owners get crucified for responding.
There was one in Daytona that used to go back and forth with them.
Yeah.
They would go back and forth for days.
And like me looking back, I would read that shit. It's hilarious.
And would you go to the restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
That's what he did.
Absolutely. But I would never sit there and battle someone, over review back and forth. That's just not me. That's not.
I don't know.
But I sure as shit sat there and watched his.
My response is always the same. We apologize about your experience. We'd love to be able to do that again. Please call me directly or email me, and I'll be able to handle this. And 95% of the time, they don't call, they don't email.
No.
And then I take it with a grain of salt then. It's just you wanted to be upset or you wanted somebody to hear. But if you really had a problem, say something at the restaurant. Go to the manager right there. I don't like doing clam chowder. I'll take it off your bill.
Oh, I even post on reviews. I posted my cell number, my email address. Like, hey, call me. Tell me what happened. I want to know more. And like I said, 95% of the time,
don't call.
Hey, don't even respond to you.
It's like they just want that action because they walked out.
Yeah, they need to tell someone. Well, if there is a problem, let me figure it out. Let me fix it.
Tell the manager.
Help out.
Come on, Karen. Talk to the manager.
Yeah.
Not Google. So, well, we had a great first show.
Yes, absolutely great first show.
I'm ready.
Producer Jimmy.
Thank you for all your hard work here.
Yes.
And every Friday, we got these coming out every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday. This will be August 2nd when this will come out.
August 2nd.
Every Friday.
Yep. Somewhat tipsy without being tipsy.
And, follow us on our socials at Somewhat Tipsy Pod, somewhattipsy.com. So definitely check us out on the website, Facebook, Instagram. And we'll be putting out posters. We'll be announcing special guests. We'll be announcing... we'll play along with the crowd and come on, Karen. That is a segment where if you got a review that you're like, come on, Karen, you can send that in and to us, and we might pick it to talk about.
One question with the Karen. What is the guy, Karen?
Chad.
Chad. Is that really what it is?
I answered that pretty quickly. I'm pretty confident that the male version of Karen is Chad.
I think it would have been a William for Dick.
Yeah. I was like, man, you don't like the Prince of England?
Oh, I'm saying so Chad is the Karen.
I could have heard it from a girl that dated a Chad, and I just took it as fact, and it's always.
So I'm gonna find out what the Karen, the male version of a Karen is. Karen and Ken, maybe.
I don't know.
Come on, Ken.
I'm sticking with Chad.
We're gonna find it. Well, great first show. I'm excited for the next 20 years of doing this and more. So we will see you next Friday.
Yeah, we'll see you next Friday.